What up, though? It's your boy Willie Styles in the building. Welcome to tonight's show. Sonny, want to say what up?
Hey guys.
All right, I got the Styles and Chevy banner up because we will be back soon. We will be back soon. X-Men is coming out. I know we promised y'all some other stuff, but life has been lifing, and I got to get Chevy pinned down. I actually just saw her at an event a couple weeks ago, so we did talk. Said we're going to get this back together. But tonight we got Sonny on, and we're going to be talking about Love Is Blind season 6.
Yes.
So we ready for this because that show
That
that
whole
show
season had me on like what?
I know, right. But
Yeah.
let's get to this 1 second. All right, what up, though? So, season 6. So, I think after season 5 and all the craziness that came with that, all the complaints and the lawsuits and everything else, uh, Netflix owed us. Oh, they owed us
They
big,
did. They
right?
did.
And I also watch Married at First Sight. I've been trying to catch up on Ready to Love, which is on OWN Network, but I've been watching it on YouTube. So I watch seasons 1 and 2 now. So I watch a lot of these dating competition and marriage shows and all that kind of stuff. And I must say, Love Is Blind season 6, your producers was producing. I'm telling you.
This time
So
they actually you have to give them their props. They actually showed up to this season. Like we've been begging them to, and they like, all right, we heard y'all. We tired of y'all telling us where to go and how to get there.
right,
We're gonna
exactly.
we're gonna figure this out. And they definitely did figure it out.
Yes, they figured it out. They wrapped it up in a nice little neat package. They delivered it to us, and I was just impressed. I mean, just overall, the flow of the show or the flow of the season was much better. We had a few small hiccups, here and there, but I think for the most part, there was plenty of drama. There was plenty of um, good, people analysis. There was plenty of, characters.
Yeah.
We didn't really, the one thing I don't think we really had, and now I guess this could be debated because I did see on Reddit a lot of people talking about a couple of different people. But I really didn't feel like there was a true villain this season. We had a true villain. Was the last season with the girls that were the mean girls?
Yeah, but I
But
think
this
I see,
season, I
but I
don't feel
beg
like.
to differ. I
Okay.
think we did have a villain. I'll reveal who I pretty much felt like the villain was of this season, but well,
Well, let's start there. Let's go ahead and start there. I mean, I did so. Normally, when we do shows like this, we do episode by episode. Me and Sonny kept talking about it. We find this out. Let's just do this. Let's get this done. So, because we're doing the whole season, I figured the easiest way to do this is really just to kind of focus in on the relationships, the characters, stuff like that, the production, because we got to give props to production. I've been
yeah,
waiting to say this all season because I watched the recap videos from other YouTubers. Shout out to Tammy Talks and Queenie and
see, you know the
Roxy.
names. I just be watching them, but I
Yeah,
don't know the names of the
I got I
people.
got like I got like 4 good ones. I've been trying to watch Jessie Woo, but I mean, shout out to Jessie Woo, but I haven't really gotten into hers too much. But but with Queenie and Roxy Says and Tammy Talks, those are my true go-tos. Carla
I
J
can't think of
over
the
at Pretty
guys.
Girl J, she's awesome too. Now a lot of people will love her because she's super animated. She gives it straight from the hip. Queenie always gives great analysis. Tammy Talks does as well. So definitely check them out. But we're going to go over the whole season, and I think it's just a little easier to kind of focus in on those things because one, I didn't get a chance to rewatch any of this. It was a long.
Me either. I like, and it's crazy. I started rewatching something else because I'm prepping for Bridgerton to come out. So I've been Bridgerton out right now. But yeah, I definitely and this is like the first season I didn't rewatch only because I felt like, but I watched it as it came on. So yeah. I'm like, okay, I formed my opinions from there. The guy that I actually watch, I mean, because I see a couple of them on and stuff. I read a little bit of things, but I don't really get into like a lot of reading stuff. I'll read some stuff, but I'm not like big on it. Mm-hmm. But the one guy who I would follow, I can't think of his name, but he was my brain for Baddies. So if you don't watch Baddies, he always breaks down the Baddies franchise. My cousin got me looped in that, but he actually did Love Is Blind, and a lot of sentiments he was saying, I was like, I am there with you. Like, what is going on? Like, we don't care about these folks. We definitely care about this. So he was where I was throughout this whole season. Because like every week that I would watch the episodes came out, I would somehow like, it's like YouTube, not YouTube, Facebook or TikTok was like this, and you have to see him because I like a lot of his content, and he expressed the same thoughts that I was thinking, and me and my boss and one of my coworkers were going back and forth sharing our thoughts. So I was getting some of the blogs, but not like, I don't know names, unfortunately. I'm not that deep into it, but I am okay.
All right, for sure. So who was your true villain of Love Is Blind season 6? Who did you think, or is there multiple people?
It's one person in particular, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people will agree with me. Chelsea was the villain of the season. She the way that you could, I don't want to see, I think everybody used the word gaslight too loosely. So I'm not going to say gaslight. I'm going to say that she is the ultimate manipulator, but she plays the victim while manipulating situations. And I find that problematic because while I sympathize with her insecurities, and she may legit feel this way, she is a manipulator in every way she did it. Even when she found out he was talking to someone else, what's his name? This is Jimmy. She found out Jimmy was talking to somebody else. She knew exactly. I feel like she knew exactly who it was, and it was like a competition for her to kind of win him over her because that she was a hot one. But like at the end of the day, you got him on. I feel like she only got him because what's her name had a baby. Jessica had a baby.
Right.
If Jessica didn't have a baby, Jessica would have Jimmy. He would
not. Right. Oh yeah. Oh, hands down. Hands down.
And I feel like she used her insecurities to be the villain throughout the series. Like a lot of stuff she did, I can't. Like, if you don't like something, don't like it wholeheartedly. Don't half-ass it and then say, well, it hurt my feelings while you add it to your misery. Like, it's just like the scene when she was like, when what's the name? Jim was like, AD is pretty, whatever, how he said it. He said it.
Right.
It was a bit much, but he said it. And then she repeated it and made it loud and then was like, you're upset about it. Like, bro, either you upset about it, stand on it and stand in it and be upset about it and be insecure in that moment and communicate that to him so he knows that how you feel about it. But don't make it seem like it's no biggie, but it is a biggie to you. And then I feel like she was using a lot of her emotions too. And it's like you sat there, picked that fight with that man. You did all this stuff. You said some shit you shouldn't have said. And then you're like, oh, are you going to leave me? Like, he was ready to go. And then you kind of like walked him back. I was like, oh, no. Like, he wasn't a great guy either way. But at the end of the day, like, she attempted to make him a villain, but she was the villain in a lot of her manipulation. So, yeah, she, for me, was.
I mean, so for me, Chelsea wasn't, I didn't feel like Chelsea was a true villain. I definitely felt like she was annoying as fuck. Like, if she oh my God, the whining, the whimpering, the tears and all that shit, that was annoying as hell to me. And I felt like she, weaponized.
But she did it knowing that she would get the reaction she was going to get.
Well, yeah, she was weaponizing those tears, and I can't stand a person that weaponizes their emotions against you. And she did that to Jimmy so many times, and I was surprised that he didn't see it. You know what I'm saying? Or he didn't feel that way. You know
I'm mad they
what
didn't
drove
talk
him
about it.
away was her, misusing his trust, and the situation with what was it, the her telling him that she didn't want him to go out and all that stuff. And then I mean, honestly, like you said, she used the Megan Fox comment, oh, I look like MGK's wife. Nobody calls that woman MGK's wife. So she used that shit to try to drive Jimmy closer to her. And like you said, that because Jess had a kid, it made him go, okay, you know what, I'll rather come this way. And I think at the end,
It was
Jimmy,
better for it. Yeah.
Jimmy. Well, Jimmy ended up, realizing that Jessica was too much for him. Jessica was very straightforward, very like, hey, so I forgot who it was. Somebody said she was either demanding or she was aggressive, and I'm like, no, she wasn't
No,
aggressive.
she was
She
direct.
knew what she wanted, and she pushed that. So I felt like, Chelsea definitely was not a good person. She always, she definitely wanted to say she was a good, she was not a good person. But I also saw online a lot of people were talking about, the fact of the shit that Trevor did, right? So Trevor was the other side of that triangle with her and Jimmy, and with Chelsea and Jimmy. And it was discovered that Trevor actually had a girlfriend when he went on the show. While they were applying, when they started taping, he was texting her. She revealed the text messages. When he came back from the show, he had more text messages where he told her he loved her, that he wanted to marry her, all that kind of stuff. So, that was definitely something that, made him a villain in a lot of people's eyes. But in my opinion, none of that was shown on the show. So I couldn't really
and I feel like with him, it doesn't matter. He didn't walk into a relationship and still had that going on. So I think that's the only way that for me he's not a villain, because had he done that and Chelsea chose him and he was on that texting and stuff and she could prove it and stuff like that, then he would be a villain. At the end of the day, he didn't get picked. He went back to what he knew was normal or toxic. He was okay with it. And it doesn't matter what he did before and what he did after. I think if he had possible potential, I'm going to give him grace. I felt like if he had really made that connection with, if Chelsea had chose him, he probably would have left it all behind. But at the end of the day, you never know. And if he had showed himself to be a villain, it would have came out at some point. At this point, it doesn't matter. Like what he did before and after is no concern to anyone else. Chelsea didn't pick him.
Exactly. So, yeah, that's how I looked at it too.
I don't know why you heard about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's underhanded to come on this show for the purpose of fame and I love the way Nick Lachey
rolled into him.
He didn't go fully in, but he went in a little bit on him.
I was so mad that Trevor had no words. Somebody sent me this. Somebody sent me the meme. I don't know if you're familiar. Are you familiar with Friends?
Yeah.
Okay, so when Ross was sitting there, I forget which episode it was. He was sitting there and he couldn't talk, and he was like, "Say something. It looks awkward. Just anything. Say something." That's what they.
Right.
That's him sitting there at the reunion, not saying something. He like, anything will do.
Right.
I cracked up at that one because it was hilarious. Like he didn't have no words. He didn't have nothing to say. He couldn't say anything. And at that point, I think he realized if nothing, no matter what he said, it wasn't going to work.
Well, yeah, and the little bit he did say was ridiculous. He said, I'm toxic, and we were in a toxic relationship. I wasn't really with her, but you literally told this woman that you love her and that you want to marry her.
And then at the end of the day, I feel like he don't owe Chelsea shit. Y'all not together. She didn't pick you.
Yeah, no, real talk. So the other villain. Now this one I kind of agree with. I'm again, like I said, at the end of the day, I couldn't pick a true villain. I did feel like, one, he was wrong in what he was doing. Two, the ending of his storyline was pretty bad. But throughout the majority of the show, he didn't really show the villain card, and that will be Jeremy. I
First of
call
all, I
him
hate
Jeremy.
his name.
His name is ridiculous.
But but here's where I differ. He had who was the girl? What's the girl he was with?
He was with Laura. He picked Laura.
Okay,
and then
so
he ended up with Sarah Ann.
So here's why I say he did nonsense. F shit is what he did, right?
Right.
This is why I don't consider him a villain. He picked Laura, but Laura talked at him versus talking to him. And at the end of the day, this is where I feel like y'all were getting to know each other and you knew who he was. And I felt like she had a problem that a lot of people have. You want to change someone. You want someone to change for you, and he has to change for him. And you were already talking about what he wears, all these different things about him. Like
very superficial shit.
It's not much that I can say during their time that I heard her really compliment him a lot. It was always something backhanded or sarcastically spoken. And at the end of the day, that's a man. No matter how younger he is to her, you're belittling him on national TV at that.
Right, at that. Yeah.
He had to make a decision of he had this girl that he connected with. He made it feel like he got more from Laura emotionally, right? Or whatever he got more from Laura than Sarah Ann. Now, I don't respect how him and Sarah Ann move.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at him. Like, I'm upset with him, frustrated.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I understand why he did what he did because he was miserable. And not what you do, is how you do things. They did that terribly.
So speaking of miserable, the one thing that was very telling to me was the visit, I believe, from her family. And during the visit, she went outside and was talking to them about, their situation and everything.
Her sisters were trying to tell her.
Yeah, and he was in the house. I think he could hear her because he was in the house looking real upset, real downtrodden. That, like you said, she really went in on that guy and made him
could be the villain. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I get what he did was wrong as fuck, right? But it's almost like he could have did some what Bliss and what's the name did. What's his name?
Zach.
Yeah, Bliss and Zach did. They broke apart, and then he was like, "Okay, now it's not the right person for me. This is who I want," and went about it differently. He didn't do that. He's his own separate person, and on top of that, he's young, right? 20-something. He was like 20-something. Yeah. While I don't excuse his behavior, at the end of the day, you got to give him grace. This is a kid, and he was trying to date a grown ass woman, and that grown ass woman was on national TV belittling him majority of the time. Who was about to be happy with that? Not even just on national TV, in real life.
Yeah, in real life,
this man is about to sit there, and everything you can say about this man is always negative. You can't shake. Like her family was like, "Well, is that the only thing you have is a problem with his clothes?" And
right,
like it's the man is how he is. But at the end of the day, does he take care of himself? Is he out here wilding? Like, is he out here financially fucked up and not got his shit together? No.
Like our boy Paper Plates from last season.
Yeah, but like even with that, like I understand we have our standards. I feel like people be doing too much, and you can walk into a man's life and show him different things without belittling him and saying things. Like, you could just, hey babe, like, are we going? You're out with these paper plates. I'm gonna bring these new plates. So now we're gonna do. Like, you're getting mad. He was a bachelor. Like, they was a bachelor before they met you. They got paper plates. Like, now get it together. But like, people just be worried about the wrong things. You need to worry about what the core values are, right? Other stuff can be fixed. You're worried about how he dresses, but at the end of the day, you love him and I love him. We connected, but you're belittling him every chance you get. Like, am I surprised by what he did? No. Should he have done it a whole lot differently? Absolutely. It probably would. He should have moved a little differently. He didn't. But am I surprised? Absolutely not. I would, if I was him, I would have been like, all right, I'm out, and finished the thing from there, and then met with Sarah Ann separately. But
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, riding off into the sunset on jet
skis
was
basically
wrong.
savage. It was
That
savage.
was wrong. Yeah, exactly.
Savagery at its
at its
and
best.
Sarah Ann skipping in here like, hey. Savagery, but yeah.
Well, I mean, let's go back to Sarah Ann and her foolishness.
Oh yeah, no, I love that AD add her up on that. Let's have a girl chat. AD is like when they say AD is a girl, she is. At the end of the day, you're gonna call a spade a spade. Like, I need you to understand what you did and stand on it. Like, don't sugarcoat it. Stand on it.
Right.
But you know it's wrong. Like, if I do something wrong, yeah, you got to be able to say, you know what, I was wrong. Don't try to pussyfoot around it. You did it. Stand on it.
Right.
And then AD was, and then Sarah was like, well, no, it's not. AD's like, it's not personal. We just having a direct ass conversation.
right.
Saying why you walked in here and why everybody making faces at you. Yeah, like you don't know.
Well, and that was my thing about that conversation. AD held it together so perfectly. Like,
she was like, I'm not trying to make it personal.
The way she walked through that conversation, she was killing it. She was eating her up.
But like, and then she was like, oh, Sarah was like, well, I like you. She said, no, I like you too, but I just need you to stand on business.
Yeah.
Like, stop acting like you don't know why everybody in here looking at you side eyeing you and you trying to figure it out. No, you know why. You did some fuck shit. Like, if you were with this man and she slid in his DM and said the same thing, would you not be mad? Yes, people are mad. People feel away. These are people that were supposed to be engaged. Anybody engaged would be mad that if somebody found them, or vice versa. Man, if a guy slid in AD's DM, Clay would have every right to be mad. Like, who the fuck, bitch? Don't you know where we at with it? Like, come on. Like, and at the end of the day, yeah, he chose you, and y'all tried to fix things, or y'all was gonna work things out. Okay, but it's not what you do; it's how you do things. And you did something wrong, and you didn't want to. You want to act like you ain't want to stand on it. And AD was trying to tell you need to stand on it.
Exactly.
Stand on business. 2024. Sarah Ann wasn't ready.
Right, at all. And that was the thing too. That's why they called her out on the reunion. Like, hey, you are pick me. You got pick me activity. You got pick me energy. And she's like, oh no, you guys are pick me's. Blah blah blah. Like, girl, come on, Sarah Ann. You know better. He
was like, oh, I just sent that. She gonna. Then what pissed me off with her conversation with Laura when they showed on the reunion. She was like, oh no, because blah, blah, blah. Yo, stop lying.
Right.
Did you know we hear the conversation you had with what's the name of them? Why is you over here acting like you ain't just had that conversation, bro? Ooh, I hate people like that. Like, don't sit there like they can't run the camera back. Like when they did that shit with Jimmy, and Jimmy tried to say Jessica's life out timid. It's like, nah, roll the cameras. Let's go show him because he acting up.
Right. The receipts was receipting. Let's just put it that way.
They showed up with receipts.com.
Right, exactly. And my thing too was, I mean, not to say that this made it any better what they did to her, but I felt like it was not a double standard. It was hypocritical of Laura to be so mad about the situation. Like, you literally tried to do the same thing with Jessica and Chelsea.
That part. And the bar scene. And this is why I say, what's the name, anti-villain? Because you was out here knowing this man was engaged to Chelsea. And you're like, well, won't you just come, just being extra. And now it happened to you, like, oh my God. How dare it happen to me? You was trying to happen to Jimmy and Chelsea. Why are you exempt?
Right, exactly.
Like, let me please, what are we missing?
And then my least favorite mess up in the whole thing was the bean dip situation. Like, a lot of people called it out online. A lot of people called it out in the blogs. A lot of people called it out on the recaps. Like, that shit was just foul. The fact that she was doing that to AD and then to tell Jeremy to do that shit was foul. But then you say he childish and he wears Hawaiian shirts and you out here team childish at that moment. Like, yeah, sexually assaulting a woman, that's crazy. So, but next question I have is, which couple do you think had the best story or connection?
So even though they didn't make it, I'm going to say Kenneth and what's her name?
Kenneth and Brittany?
I feel like they did, only because whether or not they're together or not, I feel like they did make the best connection.
The best
because
connection.
because like I'm not talking about relation, I'm talking about just connection. They, as weird as I thought they were perfect. I love their conversations in the pods. I love their conversations when they got out the pods, and AD had that question for Kenneth, and then him and
about can she raise a black child?
Yeah.
Is she ready for this interracial life?
And it wasn't coming. I felt like a lot of people probably would have took it as a negative thing, and it's like, no, it's a very real question. And I love how her response was, and it wasn't even just like a run-of-the-mill white people in response. It was like, I put some thought behind this.
I don't see color. No,
she was
real. She
legit.
Understood. She
understood it, and they had a thoughtful ass conversation. This is why, out of all the couples on the whole show, I was a little sad that they didn't make it. While I understood why it didn't make it, and I felt some other reasons as to why it didn't make it, they still have a genuine. It doesn't seem fake. It doesn't seem forced. It does not seem for the cameras, stuff like that. It just feel like they got to, because like people say they talk and braid each other's hair, because they keep saying that he's gay, whatever the case may be, metrosexual, whatever he is. At the end of the day, I think out of all of the couples on season 6, they do have the strongest connection, whether couple or not. They have the strongest connection out of all of them. And if I would be like, so who would you say has the best connection?
Damn, that's a good question. I mean, I mean, now that you put it that way, I'm kind of swayed a little bit now, just because I didn't think about it like that, like the whole progression. And let's be honest, at the end, when they came to the reunion, they talked about their new friendship, right? Their newfound friendship, and how strong that friendship is, which I definitely feel like is a testament to how they handled each other, right? I did feel like Kenneth fell off, during the I'm about to say the honeymoon, during the whatever you call that thing, during the
after the honeymoon,
the after the pods, trip and everything, and how distant he was, and I think he got caught up in AD and Clay's relationship and how that was going, and probably was feeling the kind of way that he ended up with a white woman instead of a black woman, because when he made that comment, black excellence, I was like, bruh, like you saying that about their relationship, and the way he was looking at them, I'm like, I think he was missing that, so that's what threw me off.
But I think what bothered him too is that he had a real connection with that girl, be it, like I said, long term or not. It's like they may get back together some years later, or whatever the case may be. Or they may be just best of friends from there. That I feel like the connection is what matters more, because that's going to hold you to that person. And it shows you that love is blind. It may not be relationship love, but it is a love that they have built for each other, and that they became those type of friends. Now, see, AD and Clay, I feel like they could have made it if Clay stopped living his parents' life.
Yeah.
While I understand his struggle, there's a lot of people struggle. It's not just his alone. A lot of people struggle with that. But I felt like at that reunion, I sit down like, oh my damn.
Yeah.
Like I effed up moment.
Right.
For him.
Yeah. So I was gonna be the what they call that, I have the unpopular opinion. I saw so much. I don't think you could call it hate, but I definitely could see there was a bit of dismissiveness towards Amy and Johnny. And when I thought about it in the long run, I felt like the fact that they actually, got through the pods, went through what they went through in the I keep want to call it the honeymoon, whatever the honeymoon thing is.
The honeymoon and then into the real world.
Yeah, and into the real world. Because what I was seeing was her slight and light attempt to have a fallback in that relationship. She wasn't really feeling it at first. She wasn't really feeling him. She's like, I ain't never been with a white man. I have never, dealt with some of these things. My parents, I don't know how they're gonna feel. And then she tried to fall back on her dad, like, oh, my dad don't agree. I can't do this. And then, she was like, well, we did have this vision and we did have this thing, but then again, I'm still not sure. Then the birth control thing came up. So they weren't having sex and they weren't doing this and they weren't doing, and it was like all that back and forth. Now, some people said all of that was boring. All of that was just them trying to make screen time and all that kind of stuff. But I was like, I think they probably was actually going through in the background, outside of the cameras, going through some real conversations and some real things and building a real relationship. Because let's be honest, it's season 6. I venture to guess at least half. Now, I know Love is Blind and Netflix and Kinetic will probably be like, no, it can't be that much. I venture to guess at least half of the people who go on this show now are people who are just going on it to be famous. They're literally just going on to be famous. At least half. I would even say, almost 75%. And a couple of the people who go on to be famous end up finding something and be like, dang, I didn't really expect everybody that says I didn't expect to find love, I guarantee you those people were going on to be famous. They weren't going on to find love. They were going on to be famous. But then they make a mistake and find love and be like, dang, this ain't as bad as I thought. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for a true people that are really on there, truly to be on there for finding love and then to find it, and that almost impossible situation, I loved it. I really enjoyed watching that progression, seeing her let those walls down, seeing them really grow that relationship, and then to see them come back on the reunion and just reaffirm that that they got a great relationship. The pictures were hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people did definitely skip over them because they felt like they were born in whatever the case may be. It felt like they just got married to get married. I felt like to your point, it was a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff where she was. There was a lot of hesitation on her part. I think he knew that that's who he wanted to be with. I think that the people that comment about the birth control, that's a very scary thing, to just get married and not really know somebody, because they're going through a pod situation. They're like 10 days. And then they go on this honeymoon with this person, and then they're slapped into the real world, into their lives, and trying to figure it out, see if they work. So in that short amount of time, I could imagine, because you got to find that intimate connection, whether or not you had. A lot of people do have sex once they get on the honeymoon. So imagine you do that, and all of a sudden you're pregnant, and by the time you plan to get married, you don't want to marry this person.
Right.
It's a scary thing, and at the same time, most of these people are younger, so you want to explore life. So the birth control conversation was definitely thing. I'm glad both of them got educated on what it is. I'm pretty sure they had an outside conversation as to why she didn't want to be on birth control. And that's just as a female. Being on birth control is not something easy. It affects your body. So the guys who want a woman to stay a certain weight, that can blow you up. That can cause you so many different things, irregular everything. I know people that on birth control that go through situations for years. Right. And that's why I don't do birth control, because I've had side effects that I didn't want to participate in or have a problem with. I've successfully had an 11-year gap between kids. So something I was doing is right. And currently, different things. And at the end of the day, condoms are not 100%. We talked about this on
I got a condom baby. So
yeah, totally. Birth control is not 100%.
Right.
All these things are not 100% outside of what they chose to do, which is not have sex, to not even tempt the fates, because you can be on birth control. You can have your tubes tied. People have gotten pregnant. It's just your body's going to do whatever it's going to do. So those conversations were needed. You got a lot of people that don't have the hard conversations. You've seen what I forget who it was on one of the seasons, and they were talking about abortion. And I think it was the episode with Bartiz and them. They were talking about abortion and everything. And the one girl was upset because she said, no way, I don't care if my baby is deformed or not. I want to have my baby. These are very real conversations that people really need to have. Also, not only including cultural things. So I think a lot of stuff, because we seen with Kwame and what's her name, them to get together, and just the dynamic of culture and everything, and understanding stuff. And like I said, this is why I said I respect Brittany's and Keith's relationship because Kenneth's relationship because they had conversations on screen
Right.
that were very important conversations, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just I feel like when we go in when they go in, not we because I haven't gone in the situation, but when you go in situations like this, you don't know what ethnicity you're going to meet. You don't know. Like we said, Kenneth was talking about black excellence and he ended up with a white girl. Not to
Mm-hmm.
say nothing was bad about Brittany, but I'm pretty sure he didn't plan on getting connected with a white girl and he did. And that
Mm-hmm.
was just and look where he is for it now, whether they're together or not. That bond is there.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
it worked in the sense of creating those bonds and that deeper emotional connection, which is a good thing in and of itself. But I think having those conversations, a lot of conversations that were had this season were amazing. Ooh, I like my picture. A lot of these conversations were amazing this year. We've had multiple conversations throughout the Love Is Blind series, but like I feel like this year we hit a lot of great conversations.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even like you said with the birth control conversation, that was a huge one because one, Johnny didn't know anything about it. A lot of men don't know a lot about birth control. They just assume women are on birth control. They just assume that it's okay for them to do it. They just assume that's the answer when it comes to wanting to have unprotected, sex with a partner, and not realizing there's a lot more to this. And I think it definitely sparked a lot of conversation. It sparked a bit of
Yeah.
debate. It sparked, people doing research and looking at, because like one of the YouTubers that I was watching was saying how she was like, oh, why don't they just use condoms? But then she was like, well, you know what? Yeah, condoms aren't that great either because they, things can break, they're not 100%, blah, blah, blah. Then she was like, well, maybe she can use this. And then she started doing research and she started talking about it in her podcast, the different options. Because one thing she mentioned that I had even forgot about, because when I had this conversation with a friend in the past, they talked about doing the coils, and I had totally forgotten about the coils. They
Oh,
talked
wow.
about, doing the shots, doing IUDs, and they talked about all these different options that are out there. And a lot of people don't even realize there's other options other than just a pill or just, getting tube tied and
And
stuff
a
like
lot of
that.
those things can cause lasting problems for that girl for life. Like not to be um explicit about it, but like I've known people who were on the shot and had their lady time the whole entire year
Oh yeah, yeah, I've
with
heard that.
few
Yeah,
days without it. So that
yeah.
is great for the sex life. Absolutely not. And now because
Mm-hmm.
and they see different things. And like I remember the patch when they had came out with the patch. I was
Mm-hmm.
around, that era.
Yeah,
And that started giving you monster cramps and causing you like not it was just not good. Like it
right.
would be like cramps like you were essentially having a baby but wasn't. And
Mm-hmm.
so people don't like and everyone's body reacts differently. Not every female's body is right for certain things. And for me it was too much negative for me to even participate in it, but like to each his own. But yeah, it's not something simple as and when them pills you got to take them the same time every day. People be living life they don't remember.
Right. Yeah. No, no doubt. No doubt. So we talked about best connection and story. We already really touched on a lot of the couples and what they were going through. The ones that didn't make it, that didn't have good stories. But one we did kind of touch on just a little bit, but had a really big story. And it seems like the story might be still going on. Is AD and Clay? What's
Oh
your
yeah,
thoughts
yeah.
on AD and Clay?
I thought they would have been great together. Now AD needed to see Clay for who he actually was, and it's that complex of us women coming there to be there and be there for our men, and forgetting sometimes our man needs to be there for us, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think, because I'm a guilty of that a lot of times where I meet these people and I'm just want to be there for them and be their rock, and sometimes they're not being that to me, and it's like she wanted to love him through what he was going through, but I think she was missing that she needed to be loved for who she actually was. because and for me, honestly, if I'm saying this out loud and in public and live, when he got on that podium and she said I do, and then he said, I don't think we should get married, but I don't want to lose you. That was the realest thing he could have ever said to her. Because I felt like he could have strung her on along, got married to her, and been on bullshit, right?
Right. Yeah.
But he was man enough to know that he was not ready for that at that particular moment, and that he needed to work on himself to be who he was. Because when he kept talking, he kept saying, I want to be right for you.
Right.
And he knew he wasn't, right? So he would go in these depressive states because he felt like he was going to let her down, because he knew, even though he was going through what he was going through and working through his past traumas and his family crap, he knew he wasn't able to be the man that she deserved. And for me, I commend him for that. Messed up way to do it, but I commend him for stopping it before it got completely started, because she would have opened the doors for him with no way to help herself. Like she would have, and I think like he knew the value and the woman that she was. She did not deserve a half-assed man. And so for that, I commend him. And even with the reunion, I thought the reunion was lackluster, but I was here for their moment, and I felt like I assumed he was gonna come and be on nigga bullshit, right? And just get bullshit ass apology, half baked, stupid, some bullshit, sprinkle with some little sprinkles on top. How he apologized, I felt it was the sincerest apology I've heard in a long time. And I think she received that. And I know that she still has feelings for him. She still wants that man the same way he wants her. But I think she's in the mindset of he has to earn me. I'm not going to do it. He has to do it for me to even, and I have to see it for me to come and accept and just come back and see what's going on. But I do commend him on that apology. I commend him on going to therapy.
Yeah. So, and folks, make sure y'all feel free to comment. We'll put your comments on the screen. We'll talk to you as well about this show, Love Is Blind season 6. Great show. So, I'm about to say so far it's already ended, but great season. And don't forget to like, follow, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be notified when we're back on here doing our thing. But yeah, I definitely, like, the first thing I do want to say is, I feel like the apology, what was it? Not the apology. It was the wedding. That was messed up in my opinion too.
It was.
It's messed up way to do it. Messed up way to finally say, because I mean, look at Jimmy. Jimmy walked away before the wedding. He told Chelsea how he felt. He let her know he wasn't feeling that relationship, and he let her go. Kenneth and Brittany, they didn't even make it to the tux fitting, right? So I feel like the tux and dress fitting, I feel like these were definitely or that there was other opportunities for him to let her know that he was not ready.
True.
But to his defense, he had told this girl already that he wasn't ready. He told her repeatedly before the wedding. He told her repeatedly throughout the journey through until the final day, and she just wasn't listening. Everybody always pointed out that she said this at the beginning. She said, "When I see red flags, I paint my nails red." And it's like, AD, how many red flags are you going to ignore and avoid with this man, knowing that he is, one, he's already talking like he's going to cheat on her. Two, he's already talking, like you said, being depressive about his situation, talking about his shortcomings, talking about, his need for more work, his need for therapy, his need for this, his need for that, his need for healing, his history with his father, his history with his family. All these things were his clues and his flags to her, like, hey, I am not ready for this. I'm not ready for this.
Yeah, but then go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Like you said, but he did do the right thing by not continuing to string her along and letting her know at that altar, like, no, this is not happening. I can't do this. It would be, what did he say? Immature of me, or I forgot his exact words, I almost remember, but he basically was just telling her, it wouldn't be the right thing to do to continue on into a marriage, knowing that he has so much work that needs to be done. But also I felt like, there were, and he brought it up too. He said that there were things that they hadn't talked about. There were things that they hadn't really discussed and gone over. They hadn't tackled yet. And I do feel like she was just too ready, too gung-ho, too just, let's just do this. And it was, and I believe him that there was just things that weren't worked out before they hit that altar, that if they would have took those steps, if she would have just asked more questions, that's my thing. If she'd have just asked a couple of more questions, I think either they would have gotten to the understanding that they weren't getting married, or they would at least tackled some issues or tackled some things that needed to be said before that happened.
Yeah. I think definitely it was a lot, because it was more his stuff, not necessarily more any of her stuff. And that's why I said she got so invested in him that she forgot about herself. Yeah. And I hate to say it. What's her name? Risa. She was just so ready. She felt like it was her time. She probably felt like it was her time. And like, yeah, wrong way to do it. Clay could have said it numerous times, but like he did say it, whether or not she wanted to hear it and take it and understand what was being said is that thing. But like that's a lot of us feel like we could love people through shit, and some things you just need to have him there with you, or meet you halfway, or meet you there, or come show up as he's supposed to be before you even go further. And it's just sad, because it's like I really think if they had got their stuff together, it probably would have worked. But then again, we don't even know what her issues were.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like I said, because they didn't really go over all those things. He kind of touched on it a little bit as he was walking away from the altar. And, he was saying that he didn't understand her financials. There were some issues they had with, her work and his work and their schedules. We could definitely see that just during their conversations, that, there was this mismatch in how they wanted to live in general, in terms of the way he, worked and the way that she worked and all that kind of stuff. It would be ships in the night in certain situations. He would be out doing, his whatever he does with the rentals and jet ski rentals and stuff like that. And I think that those were some bigger issues that they really should have tackled before they went to the altar, and they just failed to do that.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and talk about the reunion. I know I initially, when I talked to you about this, I was all, gung-ho and happy about the reunion. And then you were like, nah, dog. It's a no for me, dog. I was like, oh, wait, hold on, wait. So what's your thoughts on the reunion?
I think the reunion was while Nick and Vanessa showed up to ask the hard questions, I still felt like it was not given. I felt like they had built it up and it wasn't giving as much as they wanted. They asked questions a lot of us want answered, but at the same time, they didn't ask questions a lot of us wanted answered.
So give me an example, because
like
I felt like they did a great job.
No, like not with Chelsea. They didn't really do much with Chelsea, except for some BS that nobody, we hashing out stuff with Jessica and hoopla. But they didn't really call Chelsea out on her shit. They pretty much skipped over Brittany and Kenneth. They didn't get that much airtime. Questions we had for them. It was, yeah. And then y'all had the wow, it was cute. Y'all had the other people on there, but it was like, why? Y'all
had a lot of complaints.
Like, did y'all do that because y'all didn't want some of them questions to come from y'all out your own mind? Like, it was just.
Yeah, now that I definitely was in agreement with you, because I thought it was funny that they had some of the former cast asking the audience questions, or the viewers questions. So I was like, what, Nick and Vanessa don't want to ask these questions? But I felt like Nick and Vanessa, well, Nick. I don't know about Vanessa, but I know Nick. Well, I'm glad. One thing I'm glad about is Vanessa didn't ask anybody, "Are you pregnant?" I was like, thank God they gave her some real pregnant people
because she already had some pregnancy people on. She already had pregnant people.
Exactly. I was like, thank you, because we didn't need her to ask nobody else that wasn't pregnant when they getting pregnant, because that was so cringy. And then her questions are never good, you know. So having the questions that they did have Nick ask, the way he went in on Trevor, the way he went in on Jeremy, the way he and you know, a couple other situations that he you know really touched on. I thought they did a much better job of making them do like real legitimate questions or real legitimate topics that were generally ignored or glossed over in the past seasons.
And they were showing and they were showing receipts
in real time. Was everything. When you started reading those text messages,
but they were showing it in real time, because remember that one year, what's her name, was talking about that cuties incident, and they showed it at the end. It's like, no, show that shit right while she's sitting there saying that bullshit.
Exactly.
Like, so exactly. The fact that they was receipting live, it was cool.
The receipts were receipting.
but I just feel like they made it like the way they promoted it. I thought it was gonna be bigger than that. Even when they was like, so it reminds me of during the season when Jimmy, when you see the clip about what's coming up next, and Jimmy had slept with somebody. We all thought it was Jessica, did we not?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We
all said that. It was like, oh, Jimmy done slept with Jessica. How the hell? She a mama. She out here horn. And then you gonna say he slept with the child, please.
Right.
I like y'all was building it up, and I was just thinking it was gonna be something, and it's just like,
yeah. Well, so going back to your point about them not touching on Chelsea, I don't know. I'm like, are we in some kind of vacuum? Are we in some kind of bubble? Because nobody touched on Chelsea's behavior. Like, no one. You know, none of the other castmates. Jimmy never did. Like you said, Nick and Vanessa didn't. I'm like, are we the only ones seeing this? Are we the only ones observing her baby-like attitude and her whimpering and her weaponizing her emotions? I'm like, I don't understand. So I'm like, maybe they, I don't know. I don't know. I'm like, maybe because of the fact that she was being emotional, they didn't want to emotion bash her. I don't know if that's a word yet, but I'm gonna start coining it now. You know, maybe they didn't want to emotion bash her. But I agree that they didn't touch on that. But I think, you know, they touched on some of the other things with their situation. They made them rehash the whole situation with why they broke up, and made them talk about the whole thing with, you know, her just, you know, misusing his trust with revealing that the female friend was the one he had slept with. And you know, it was something else that they made them discuss. But it was, you know, I thought that was still good. You know, I thought that they did a great job with Trevor. They did a great job with Clay and AD. Like you said, they did drop the ball on Kenneth, and I mean, you know, they gave them a little bit of airtime. We were able to see what that connection was like and them to talk about it, but they didn't delve into why that breakup happened, which I don't know if you heard about this, but Kenneth and Brittany actually broke up before the filming of so it was a reenactment. And that's why it was so dry, the way it ended. Yeah. The situation with Clay and AD is that Clay was never, like, literally never stayed at the apartment with AD. Every time she mentioned, there was more times than that she mentioned that he was out, you know, at his, you know, wherever he was at every night. And that before they went to the tux fitting and the dress shopping, he had already told the producers he wasn't going to get married.
Oh, wow.
But they now, this is where it gets murky. There's one perspective that they offered him more money, like a couple of extra $1,000 in order to stay on. Another perspective or another theory is that, which is the theory I think that he either, you know, pointed to, was that they give more screen time to AD, as well as kind of, you know, make her look better and to by the end of it, it'd be like kind of a clean cut kind of thing. And that was his what he wanted to happen. And then the other thing was just that they both were in agreement that they knew that they weren't going to actually get married. But I was like, her raw emotion showed that she didn't really know that this was happening. At least I mean, unless she's a really great actress, but she definitely hasn't tried to capitalize off of that. I know Clay is trying to capitalize off of his views on there. But bottom line, they were saying that that relationship had already ended way before they even went dress shopping. What was another thing I had found out? Jeremy and Sarah Ann's. No, actually, they revealed that at the reunion. The fact that Jeremy and Sarah Ann's little excursion, was not just the only thing that happened. That there was definitely other conversations, and that when she did that video, she was at Jeremy's house. But they revealed that at the reunion as well. So it was definitely some things revealed, some things shown, and that's one thing I liked about it, because I know a lot of people don't watch the recaps and the reactions from other YouTubers. So seeing these things for the first time, like the Trevor text messages, the fact that Sarah Ann was at Jeremy's house. And Nick calling her out on that, because she said that, oh, this is entertainment, baby. Like, yeah, he's like, no, this is not entertainment. This is real people's lives. You guys are messing with real people's lives and livelihoods. So that was huge for him to literally call them out.
Oh yeah. About her and that her post, cryptic post, like she wasn't in his house and all that extra stuff she was doing.
Right, exactly. So yeah, that was definitely big. It was something else I wanted. Oh, so final question: who had sex on the during the season? Who do you think really did have sex during the season?
Oh, AD and Clay definitely did. Jeremy and Laura definitely did. Jimmy said that Chelsea kept asking him for it.
Oh right, yeah, they definitely did. And she was now. Do you think it was Cap that when she kept saying that he was huge?
Definitely was Cap. She was trying to say like she won the prize.
Right, exactly. Everybody kept saying that online. Like, yeah, like, oh no, we need to like Jimmy, you need to prove it. Johnny and Amy, do you think they really did? Because AD said she didn't believe Amy. She was like, nah, girl, y'all had sex.
I don't think they did, because they still had weird. I don't. For the reason I believe them, they didn't do it.
Okay, yeah. I think Clay and AD did for sure. I feel like they did, because she was way too invested emotionally into this thing without even checking and see what was going on. She definitely didn't do her due diligence. She definitely didn't, ask the bigger questions. She just was like head in, like, let me just do this, and trying to hype him up to just do it. So I feel like, yeah, there was definitely some sex involved between the two of them. I agree that Laura and Jeremy did, because she was definitely hurt. Like, I feel like if they didn't, I don't think she would be so hurt. I mean, she felt embarrassed. I'll give her that. She looks like the type that, something like this would, embarrass her in general, especially because she did definitely, downplay Sarah Ann. But, I think that, her feelings were involved a little bit. And probably the day before they had the meeting with her family. That was probably their first time, if not the first time, they just had sex or something, and she probably felt like, oh, this is really happening. She said that she had bought her grandmother a plane ticket and stuff like that. So I think she was definitely invested into that relationship.
Yeah. I don't think Kenneth and what's her name had sex either.
No, I don't think so either. I believe them that they didn't really do anything, because like I said, I feel like probably right before the luau that he was starting to check out anyway. I think he was already checking out. So
Is he or isn't he?
I don't know. So I was trying to find somebody to talk about. Nobody wanted to talk about it. So I really don't have much on it. You know, all I know is that there was some whispers, and you know, there was a weird video somebody posted talking about, oh, you know, this sounds like a guy on the phone when he made the phone call about, man, I'm about to leave, or bro, I'm about to leave. But we also know he had a roommate. He also said on the reunion that he talked to Clay after the reunion or after the breakup. So I'm like, that could have been anything, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time when a guy breaks up and he's living with a girl, he's calling his homeboy. He ain't calling another one. He's calling his homeboy. So
Yeah.
you know, I didn't think nothing of that. I thought that was weak. You know, some people mentioned his look. You know, when he was in the cast pictures, they were like, yeah, he looks like it, and it's like, he just looks like a big guy that just doesn't know how to dress or doesn't know how to do his hair. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I liked his hair throughout the season. He had his little hairstyles.
Yeah, I mean, when he met Brittany, it definitely looked much better. His cast picture and his hair at the reunion, I was like, good, yeah. Like, no, bro, don't do that. Don't ever do that again.
Lord.
So yeah, so Love Is Blind season 6.
Yes.
Ooh, heck of a season. Anybody that follows me saw that I posted that Detroit is getting a Love Is Blind casting call. I don't know if they're going to be next. I doubt it. I feel like it'll probably be another year or two before we see Detroit on there. Somebody just posted something about, you know, where they think that they're going to be at for season 7. But I'm definitely looking forward to season 7. If anybody knows, you know, hit us up in the comments. You know, if anybody knows where they actually are going to be hailing from in season 7, let us know.
Yes, let us know. I'm gonna be watching.
He said he said what?
I'm gonna be watching. Ooh, Jesus, I'm yawning already. That's how you know I'm old.
Yeah, I'm looking for. I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's been a heck of a ride. I don't watch so many videos. I mean, for every episode of season 6 that I watched at least 3 recap videos at anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes long. So yeah. I had a lot of Love Is Blind during this season, but it was just because it was so good. It was so many takes on it, so many perspectives, and you know, it brought up so many conversations. So I definitely felt like it was, you know, a great season. People, you know, people spoke to it that it was a great season. So
I think it was a great season. If I had to say for me, this was probably the best season for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say season 1's probably still the best for me, but this is definitely
because of Cam and them.
Yeah, because of Cam. Yeah,
I love them. I was mad they weren't at the reunion. That's because I let down too.
I know, right? Yeah, because I mean, I'm like, you're gonna have some people at the reunion, but Brett and Tiffany came. I was happy to see Brett and Tiffany.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they could. Oh, actually, let's talk about that real quick before we get off here. Who? Well, you already kind of said you didn't want to see any of those people, but
well, no, I mean, it was cool to see Brittany and them, but like, if I wanted to see anyone, it would have been it would have been Cam and them.
Yeah,
like I can't. Yeah. I love watching them bond in the pods. I love when they did their reveal. I just loved everything about them.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely felt like it would have really took the show over the top, you know, to see them, to get an update from them. I mean, we can go on their YouTube.
Yeah, I follow them on Instagram, so I just go and be all in love. Like, yeah, exactly. I follow them and Woody and what's the name from Imani from
Woody and Imani, yeah, from Married at First Sight. Yeah, I think it was season 10 or something, or 9. So yeah, definitely. There's a lot of good love stories from these shows out there. I was very happy to see Brett and Tiffany. Brett and Tiffany. I love their connection. I love their story from was it season 4? I definitely felt like they were, you know, right up there with Cam and Lauren as like one of the top couples from the show. Just everything they went through was awesome to me.
And Clay paid homage to Brett. He was like,
yeah,
that's what I consider a husband. And
yes,
yeah,
and that was huge. That was huge. So definitely shout out to them. You know, I was kind of happy to see Giannina, happy. I guess the guy that she was with was a bachelor from one of the Bachelor shows, or a bachelor from one of the Bachelorette shows.
Wasn't she the one? Was she the one? She annoyed me on her season, but yeah.
Yeah, she was. I think she was one of the. Wasn't she one of the? Yeah, she was one of. She was one of the people that was kind of a villain in the show. She looked so different. That's what it was.
Yeah, it threw a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people were like, "Who is that?" Like
Chelsea and Kwame annoy my spirit.
Yeah, I was like, I could have did without Chelsea and and Kwame. I didn't like them on the show. I never thought they were going to make it. I think they still live in a lie in their situation. We know that Chelsea works for Love Is Blind. I feel like that was the only reason they were there, honestly. And honestly, I was thinking about it. I was like, I bet you it was Chelsea's idea to have old cast members on there just so her and Kwame could be on there. I can guarantee you that was her idea.
I don't like her. I don't like them.
So I was definitely like, ugh, like they could have kept them. Kwame's so boring and weird, and I just didn't like him on that show. Who else was there? Old boy from
Matt and what's the name? The ballerina, the crazy girl.
Yeah, Matt and Colleen.
Oh my god, I don't like them either.
Yeah, they were. No, that's not them. Where is it at? Trying to find. I was hoping somebody had a picture.
Then they had the boy with bad credit.
yeah. Everybody calls him Paper Plates. Here is
Izzy. He's so cute.
Izzy. Yeah, there he is. Izzy. They had Izzy on there. He was only on there because he's going to be in Perfect Match season 2, which I'm a huge fan of Perfect Match. I watched season 1, I loved it, so I'm looking forward to season 2. What's her name? Jessica's going to be on season 2 as well as I can't think of her name. Old girl that was sitting next to Izzy.
I can't think of her name. She's nobody important now.
Yeah, she was. Her and the guy Paul, they had a pretty good relationship. I think they were in season 4, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, were they in season 4, or maybe they were in 5? I can't think of what season they were in because it was her and Paul. Maybe if I can find Paul, they'll show a picture of. Yeah, here she is.
Micah. Oh, Micah.
Yeah, Micah. So Micah's going to be in Perfect Match, and she mentioned that she has a good relationship with Jessica as well. Yeah, so she's going to be on season 2 of Perfect Match. I went back and forth about her during the whole season, even after season and everything. But all in all, I think she had a good story. She made a good run. It'll be interesting to see how she does in Perfect Match. I'm not really excited to see her. I'm more excited to see how Jessica does, how Izzy does. I heard Trevor's supposed to be on it too. They didn't mention it, and I kind of wonder
why would they let him come on?
Huh?
Why would they let him come on?
Well, no, I wonder if they, because what I heard is that they taped it immediately following season 6's taping. So he may have already taped it without them knowing that he, messed up season 6 of Love Is Blind. So I wonder, if they're gonna try to figure out a way to cut him out, or if they're just gonna give him less screen time in the edits. So it should be interesting to see how they handle that. But yeah, who else was there? Brennan and what's her name? What is his name? Brennan and Alexis.
Oh yeah. And they're having a baby.
And they're having a baby too. Yeah. Alexa. Yeah. Brennan and Alexa.
I like them together. I think he was scared of her dad, but I like them together.
Yeah. Oh man, I would be scared of her dad. I think he connected or something. My man.
The way I'm not messing with them. What they Armenian? Yeah. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like, listen, what y'all want me to do? Be a Jewish person? I got y'all.
Right.
I'm gonna do my whole family converting. I got my whole family convert.
Well, I was worried they weren't going to make it. I literally was worried they weren't going to make it. She was a little superficial. Definitely, had lived a way bigger life than he did. He was more of a country boy. She's, rich city girl. I was like, how's this going to work out? But they seem happy. They seem very happy.
His whole family got converted. They like, listen, we all over here with y'all. What y'all doing?
Exactly. Yeah, I think they literally mentioned that at the reunion. Like, yeah.
Yeah, like, the whole family.
The whole family. They're like, the whole family's scared. Like, we just whatever y'all want to do. We're happy to do it. We're happy to comply. So, but yeah, it was good to see them. I thought they were a good, in the end, they were a good couple. So it was good to see them, see that update, that they got that going on. Bliss and Zach, I wasn't a fan of how Zach did Bliss, but in the end, it was a good relationship. In the end, it was definitely a great story afterwards.
They had a little girl.
Oh, they had a little girl. Oh, yeah. Okay.
They just did their gender reveal.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, about to say I saw a few months ago when they announced that she was pregnant, and then they did the baby shower at the reunion, or they showed it on the screen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was. I think this was what I saw. I saw this right here. And it's just so funny seeing Zach now. He's like Mr. Ruffett.
Yeah.
So yeah, but definitely was good to see that update as well. So I think it was. I enjoyed the extra guests outside of seeing the people I didn't want to see, and not seeing the people I did want to see. But the ones they did get and the updates we did get, I was happy with. So
yeah.
But yep. So tell the folks where they can find you, Sunny.
You already know you can find me at IamSunny_D, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and TikTok. My blog is Unreservedly Me. Oh, and catch me tomorrow.
Oh yeah, tomorrow. Don't forget Unreservedly Us tomorrow at 10 p.m. Make sure y'all check us out. Hit that like, share, subscribe button so you can be notified. And it's your boy Willie Styles in the building. Get at me everywhere at Willie Styles on IG, Twitter, and Threads. I'm at Willie.Styles on Snapchat and TikTok. Visit me over at stylesradio.com for all the hot tracks that I'm listening to. Just dropped some new Friday on there, new hot tracks from him. So make sure you go check that out on stylesradio.com. WillieStyles.info for all my links. Make sure you guys get over to us over at GFTRadioshow.com on the web.
You don't even know. It's
right,
up there. You can't even read.
You can find it somewhere. Google it. I don't care. Whatever you got to do. But go check it out to get to our socials, our replays and all that good stuff. Join the conversation group. Make sure you check that out. Sunny's got the merch on. Make sure you get some merch over at gftradio.creator-spring.com. We got sweatshirts, hoodies, t-shirts, and more. So make sure you go check that out. Listen to us free on demand over on your favorite audio platforms as well as checking out all of the video replays here on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. Hit that like, share, subscribe button. We're trying to get to 300 subscriptions on YouTube. We're trying to get to 500 followers on Facebook. So make sure you guys hit that like and follow button so that you can get engaged with us, because we always have great content for you guys. And make sure you join the conversation group over on Facebook and Facebook groups. GFT, join the conversation. And just want to quickly run through. You can catch us for plenty of content throughout the week. GFT Radio Show every Monday at 10 p.m. We just dropped a great show last Monday. Forgot what we were talking about, but we talked about something great. Make sure you go check that out. This past Monday, we did a special rendition of the Fans Perspective. Make sure you check that out. We talked about the Tyson fight. We talked about the state of basketball. Talked about a little bit of other stuff too. Make sure you check out Unreservedly Us. That's every Thursday at 10 p.m. So make sure you be here tomorrow for that. Yes. How to Hustle Podcast with Haim every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Make sure you check out the new podcast he just dropped. Great interview that he did with Brittany Minor Jones and Taya. So make sure you go check that out. Styles and Chevy Recap. We will be back soon enough. X-Men 97 is coming soon, so we will be reviewing that when it drops. So make sure you be here for that. Until next time, you know where to find us. We're out.